It began with a distant rumble, a sound so deep and foreboding it seemed to shake the Earth's very core. On an April evening in 1815, Mount Tambora, a massive volcano in Indonesia, roared to life in one of the most catastrophic eruptions in recorded history. But this wasn't just a local disaster. The eruption didn't just devastate the island of Sumbawa, it disrupted the entire planet. Ash blanketed the skies, blocking out the sun, turning summer into winter, and plunging the world into chaos. Famine, strange skies, and chilling temperatures swept the globe. This is the story of how a single eruption reshaped the world forever. April 10th, 1815. I was a Dutch trader stationed in Batavia, modern-day Jakarta. News of Mount Tambora's growing restlessness had reached us over the weeks, whispers carried by the sailors and messengers. The island of Sumbawa, where the volcano stood, was over 750 miles away, but in the tropics, whispers of volcanoes always came with unease. I recall that evening vividly. It was hot and sticky, the kind of humid air that makes your clothes cling to your skin. The sunset was unusually vivid, painting the sky with blood-red streaks that seemed to linger far longer than normal. Then it came. At first, it was distant, like a low growl rolling through the earth. People paused mid-conversation, their faces turned toward the horizon. Then came the trembling, just slight vibrations underfoot, as if the earth itself was holding its breath. I was standing on the dock when it happened. I'll never forget the sight. A dark plume, so massive it seemed to scrape the heavens. Even from so far away, the eruption was unmistakable. A fiery glow lit up the sky above Sumbawa, and the growling became a deafening roar. Over the next few hours, ash began to fall. It drifted down like dirty snow, coating everything in a fine gray powder. The air thickened with the acrid smell of sulfur, sharp and suffocating. The next day, reports started trickling in. Sumbawa had been devastated. Villages near the volcano were buried under pyroclastic flows, deadly waves of superheated gas and volcanic debris that moved faster than any human could outrun. It wasn't just homes that were lost. Entire communities were gone, their people swallowed by the mountain's fury. One survivor described the sound as the scream of 1,000 demons, the sky so blackened it was impossible to tell day from night. Boats fleeing the island were pummeled by falling rocks and ash. Over 10,000 people on Sumbawa alone were dead. But Tambora's wrath wasn't finished yet. In the weeks that followed, the scale of the eruption became apparent. The ash cloud had spread, covering the skies across Southeast Asia and beyond. The sun became a dim, pale disk in the sky. Days felt like dusk, and nights were eerily cold. I remember the chill creeping in, a cold so uncharacteristic of the tropics it sent shivers down our spines. Crops began to fail. Rice paddies dried up, and the famine set in quickly. People spoke of the gods being angry, of curses and omens, but the truth was far worse. Half a world away, in Europe and North America, strange things began to happen. By 1816, the full effects of Tambora's eruption were being felt globally. Europe was still recovering from the Napoleonic Wars, and now it faced another crisis, the year without a summer. I heard from a colleague in London that snow fell in June. Crops refused to grow, and livestock froze to death in their fields. Riots broke out over food shortages, and famine claimed thousands. In New England, farmers reported that frost killed their crops as late as July. In China and India, the monsoons failed, and droughts followed. Cholera spread like wildfire, feeding off the weakened and malnourished. The entire planet seemed to be unraveling. I was stationed in Java when I first noticed the strange sunsets. They were beautiful in a haunting, otherworldly way. the ash particles in the atmosphere scattered sunlight, creating vibrant red and orange hues that lingered long after dusk. But beauty couldn't mask the terror beneath. As the skies burned with fiery colors, the earth grew colder. The rivers of ash in the atmosphere reflected sunlight back into space, cooling the planet by nearly 3 degrees Fahrenheit. It was a drop small enough to be invisible in numbers but catastrophic in its impact. Tambora's eruption claimed over 100,000 lives in the immediate aftermath, but the famine, disease, and climate disruption it caused took millions more. It reshaped agriculture, economics, and even art. I read years later that Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein during the Year Without a Summer, inspired by the eerie skies and the cold, dark mood of the time. For years, stories of Tambora's survivors haunted me. I remembered one sailor who had been near Sumbawa during the eruption. He spoke of floating islands of pumice, bodies tangled in the volcanic debris, and the silence that followed the explosion. It was like the world ended, he said. Mount Tambora's eruption reminds us of our fragility in the face of nature's power. It's a tale of fire and ice, of life and death, and of the far-reaching consequences of a single moment of fury. Until next time, stay cautious and remember, the earth beneath our feet holds secrets and dangers we may never fully understand. Who knows what other stories the past has buried in ash?